Hey yo, salute to all my subscribers and a special shout out to everybody else passing through. YouTube, what's good? All right, so I came through to do another address the comments. This series I started to basically include the viewership, the listenership, everybody who participates in this channel, in this platform, by contributing their thoughts, their feelings on different blogs and videos I do. Just a way to keep everybody involved. Because a lot of what I talk about, y'all know I bill it as, shit that's for all of us. Shit that we all experience and deal with in our relationships every day anyway. So it only makes sense for me to include the comments, the thoughts, the retorts, the rebuttals, the opinions of people when they comment, and then give it back to the channel the same way I do my original ideas. Because if I'm gonna put my ideas and my thoughts on this channel for you all to watch and listen to, then it's only right that when you guys give me feedback, I have to address it. So, having said that, I recently did a blog, which was actually kind of like my thoughts or my response to something that someone on my Facebook posted. And I was basically talking about cheating, and I got a comment from someone by the name of Samantha Rose. Salute to you. I appreciate you following my channel. I appreciate you checking out my content, and definitely appreciate you contributing to the channel by offering your feedback in the form of comments. And Samantha asked me a question, and she asked me to do a video on it. So I decided, okay, you know what? This is actually a topic I have talked about with people over the years, both men and women. This is a topic that is pretty close to me, and it's something that I deal with, even in my own personal life on some level. So I decided, okay, what better way for me to kind of show Samantha my appreciation for her following my content than to go ahead and respond to that comment in my very next blog. So I'm about to show y'all the comment. I'm gonna read it along with y'all, and then we're gonna get into it. Let's get into it. All right, so I recently did a blog talking about cheating. Basically, the point was, if you cheat, then you're not in love with your partner. And that blog was actually kind of like a reblog or kind of like a salute to individual on Twitter who posted that who tweeted that exact tweet. And so I did a blog basically expounding on it and basically, approving of the message and sharing my sentiments on that. So Samantha Rose, again, salute to you, shout out to you. Hit me up with this comment. It says, question: are you talking about women cheating or both parties? Because in another comment, she put, men bring babies home all the time. I guess what she meant was, a lot of men are in relationships and then they deal with other women cheating or what have you, and then they get other women pregnant. Facts. I can't deny that. That's a fact. But my retort to her was, that's true. But at the same time, there are a number of women out here who pop up pregnant and they know that the baby does not belong to the man that they're married to or the man that they're dating. Or maybe they don't know, but maybe they suspect or they're not sure because they were cheating. But they allow those men to believe that they are the fathers of those children. And there have been plenty of men who have found out years later, after paying child support, after, doing all these different things to contribute to this child's life, only to find out they're not the father. And you know what? I may do a separate blog on that, because as I'm thinking about it, as I'm saying it out loud, I would want to know what y'all think is more damaging. A man who steps out on the woman he's with, gets another woman pregnant, and now there's another child in that situation, or the woman who gets pregnant by another man and allows her husband or her boyfriend or what have you to think that's his child. Now he's helping to raise a child, contributing real money, real time, real effort into a child who's not his. Interested to know, and I think that's going to be my next blog. So let's get back to this one. So the rest of her comment was, So to answer that part, are you talking about women cheating or both parties? Anytime I do a blog, video, podcast, whatever, roundtable discussion, anytime cheating, the term cheating comes out of my mouth, and I'm having a discussion or a discussion or doing a monologue on cheating, it is always, always, always in reference to both parties. Always. It is always, always going to be in reference to both parties because I'm the type of individual who wholeheartedly believes that cheating is not a sole proprietorship of men. You know, I know that it's out there that men are dogs, men are players, men are the ones who cheat predominantly, and I don't subscribe to that. And when it comes to that type of shit, I will cape for men all day because I'm an individual who is a strong believer in the issues that we suffer from in our relationships are not the product of stereotypes pertaining to one gender group or another. It's about individuals who are fucked up. It's about individuals who don't have their shit together. It's about individuals who lie, individuals who cheat, not men or women. So to answer your question again, I know I did in the comments, but just to reiterate, no, I'm never just talking about women when I speak on cheating. If I make references in a blog or a video where it seems like I'm siding more toward women cheating in what I'm saying, it's only because in every single adult relationship that I've ever been in, with the exception of one, I have dealt with unfaithful, lying, cheating women at some point in my life. And that's every adult relationship I've been in, with the exception of one. Some way, shape, or form, I've dealt with cheating, I've dealt with lying, disloyalty. You know what I'm saying? So when I speak on certain things, sometimes my personal experiences come into that, which is fine. You know, I don't hide from that. I don't shy away from that. But anytime I'm talking about cheating, and even if you listen to that blog or watch that video or any others, I will always throw in there. If I'm talking to my fellas, I'll say fellas XYZ, but then I'll say, and same goes for women or whatever. So yes, I'm always, always, always talking to both parties. Now, as far as the rest of Samantha's comment, what she wanted to know was, how come men never want to forgive women for cheating, even though they cheated? Now, this is a very touchy subject. It's dope. I've talked about this over the years with several people. There may even be in the archives early on this platform, me talking about it, or somewhere on my podcast, iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify, if y'all want to go listen to some of my old podcasts, life, relationships, and everything in between. But I've talked about it on one of my platforms at some point. But I've definitely spoken about it with men as well as women over the years. This has been a topic of discussion at many of tables that I have sat at. And I have a multi-part response to this question, Samantha. So before I get into this, because of the times that we live in, it sucks that I have to do this, but I do this whenever I'm doing a blog or video on content that is controversial, on content that is important, that I really need people to pay attention to the message, more so than sound bites or lines or different words here and there. Pay attention to the overall message, because the following next 5-10 minutes, however long this blog is going to be, I'm going to say some things that may potentially cause people to be inclined to comment, because people may feel like I'm being harder on a gender, or I'm making excuses for men. So I'm issuing this disclaimer now. Everything that I'm about to say is based solely on my experiences, as well as the experiences of the people who I have spoken to about this topic over the years. So of course, everything that I'm about to say may be jaded towards those conversations and toward those experiences. I'm not saying that anything I'm about to say in any way, shape, or form insinuates someone being right in a gender group versus someone in the other gender group being wrong. I'm not saying that these are excuses. I'm only giving my perspective from the male's point of view in response to Samantha's question. So first of all, I'll say this. I don't believe that there are only men who solely have a hard time forgiving or looking the other way when it comes to cheating or lying, even if they're the ones who perpetuate it. I believe that there are women out there who do it too. I've had it done to me. But if your question is specifically the men who do it, I'll try my best to address it. The hard the hard pill to swallow is, or I shouldn't say that. What I'm a little confused by is, are you just strictly talking about, so are you talking about men who, if they're cheated on by the woman they're with, they wouldn't want to forgive her, and only men who have also cheated, or men who haven't cheated but would maybe stipulate to the fact that if they were cheated on, they wouldn't forgive a woman, but that if they cheated on that woman, they would want and expect her to be forgiving of them. See, this is an interesting topic, and I know that ladies, y'all do think the vast majority of men, if they cheat, it'd be a different story than if you cheated. Understand where that comes from, and I'm gonna try so hard right now to approach this in a sensitive way. It's not all men who feel like it's kind of like the same argument of women can be hoes but men can't. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking, but I understand what those men mean when they say that. At the end of the day, we're all old fashioned. No matter what advancements, no matter what evolution happens, no matter how advanced we become as a people, no matter how no matter how advanced in their own sexuality women become, it's always going to be this age-old thing. There are people who are always going to look at it as the person who is penetrated always has more of a responsibility to be less promiscuous, or maybe looked at as being lesser than if they're more promiscuous than the person doing the penetrating. I think that's just old school, old fashioned way of thinking. I think it will always, on some level, prevail over, men can be hoes too. And I believe that men can be hoes. There are some hoes out there who are men. I subscribe to that way of thinking. But again, like I said, I got to be honest. I do understand. If you're a woman and you're engaging in sexual activity, you're being penetrated. Someone is entering into your body, right? And there's countless research, there are countless studies out there that show that every time a woman is penetrated, every time a woman has a man insert into her and leave their DNA behind, that DNA doesn't go anywhere. It takes a while for that DNA to be released from that woman's body. And I've read research where semen, DNA, whatever, energy even, can be left behind for years and affect that woman over time. I gotta believe that that's true because, again, you have something that's going into your body. Again, I issued my disclaimer. So anybody who's inclined right now to jump at me and be like, "Nah, we not having that," I feel you. I'm only giving y'all a well-rounded perspective based on the countless discussions I've had. I have not issued my opinion yet. This is a precursor, right? This is just a catalyst into what my summation is going to be. So don't jump on me yet. I'm saying I don't subscribe to that way of thinking. I'm just saying I understand that way of thinking. I get it. As a man, I get it. Now, is another old school way of thinking. And there is truth to this. And I'm on the fence with it. But at the same time, I 100% understand. I haven't decided what I subscribe to yet on one side or the other. But I understand that the men out there who feel like, not even men, society in large looks at it as women, when they cheat in their relationships, this is not about justification. I am subscribed to 100% exclusively to the idea that cheating is wrong. Give a fuck who you are, you do it, you're dead ass wrong, you have no respect, you're disloyal, and you shouldn't be trusted. All right, so let's get that out of the way. But there are a vast majority of people who believe women who cheat do it for emotional reasons. I'm not even going to say that because those men aren't doing something they should be doing in that relationship, because every relationship is unique, just like a fingerprint. And there are different reasons for why people withhold different things from a partner in a relationship. And you have to deep dive into that relationship to find out why. But let's say you're the woman and you feel like something's being withheld from you, or you're not getting your full fulfillment or something that you require in that relationship to be okay, so you seek it elsewhere. Society in large says that women, when they cheat, they do it for emotional reasons. And society in large says when men cheat, they do it just because men are visual creatures. We do it and it's all about the physical. Call it a connection, a long-lasting connection to prehistoric time periods of the primitive brain and us just being driven to populate the world. I don't fucking know. But basically, it's widely accepted, it's universally accepted that men, when they cheat, it's more about the physical, and women, when they cheat, it's more about the emotional. Men 100% believe that. And so the cheating thing, understand, it's not about privilege. It's not about double standard. I know it comes across that way. I know it looks that way. But there are two things that I'm going to mention. Men are not just trying to perpetuate a double standard in their idea about women cheating being unforgivable. Because men do subscribe to the belief that if you're a woman, you cheat on me, you're looking for some kind of deep emotional or mental connection. And that, in my opinion, and honestly, if you ask most people if they're going to be honest about it, that's the worst kind of cheating. Cheating doesn't have to be physical. Cheating, the worst kind, is emotional. The worst kind is mental. That's a different kind of connection. And so men know that if, women cheat mentally, emotionally first, but if you're dealing with a woman who's cheating physically, sexually, then she's already cheated mentally and emotionally. So I'm sorry. I've already issued my disclaimer, but that is unforgivable. Because here's the thing. And again, I hate that I have to keep doing this, but again, not saying that it's not wrong when men cheat. Not saying that. What I'm saying is there are different forms of cheating. The best and the easiest cheating, or I'm not even going to say best, I don't even sound right. The easiest cheating, in my opinion, to get over is physical cheating. Look at the trends. Most women, when they cheat, and for the few women who do actually admit to their partner, have the discussion with their partner, it's a running joke for like every comedian since the beginning of time. The men usually will ask, do you have feelings for that other person? Do you love that other person? That's not typically a question that guys have to mull over when they cheat, because more often than not, they're just cheating for physical reasons. But when a woman cheats, you have to ask that question because there must be something there. As far as guys are concerned, there must be a connection there because it starts that way. So if you want to break it down, like a phase by phase thing. If you agree to the fact that women do cheat emotionally and mentally first, and more often than they cheat physically, that part is a choice, right? So where were you in your relationship when you decided, one, to start entertaining other people, two, to start discussing things that are emotionally vulnerable that could potentially lead to another man getting into your head anyway. See, that part is a deliberate choice. Physical cheating doesn't require much, and that can happen anywhere. Emotional and mental cheating can only happen in intimate situations, right? And it requires either that woman to give up intimate details about the relationship, or even if those details are not true, they're made up. Because I've had people do that shit to me over the years, and the shit that they were talking about was so far from the fucking truth. The shit was humorous to me when I found out what was going on. But that, I think, is the biggest reason why men have a more difficult time forgiving women who cheat. Because we know this shit this went on for a while. There are things that were shared that are more intimate. There are things that are involve more of a connection. Um, there's another part to it too. So men look at it as it's crazy because who has more to lose in situations when and I hate to do this, but we got to be honest on this channel, and we have to have conversation that is thought provoking, right? So y'all can come at me crazy. It's not about right or wrong. I'm just asking the question: where does what is more damaging in cheating? And I go back to what I started off this blog with. If I cheat on you and I potentially could have a pregnancy scare with another woman or what have you, right? That definitely affects our situation, our relationship. It affects our family, of course, if we're married or if we have kids or whatever. But that's not something that you ever have to deal with in a sense of responsibility. Now, if you cheat and you get pregnant and you bring a child back to our relationship, you're not about to tell me it's not mine. You're not about to tell me you don't know whose it is. And if we're married in most states, I'm still going to be responsible for taking care of that child, because most states see it as just that. If you're married, even if your wife has an affair and a pregnancy comes out of that affair, there are states out here that will still make that father, that person whose last name she has, you are going to be legally treated as the father of that child. It's fucked up, but there are literally there's literally legislation on the books to this. Not lying about it. Who's more damaged in that situation? Now I have to take care of. Now I have to, you know what I'm saying? Be responsible for a whole human being that you created behind my back. It's crazy. Again, not right or wrong on either side. Just what's more damaging? And again, I know it's hard to quantify someone else's, you know, internalization of damage and trauma of that kind, but you gotta weigh the different situations. We women, I think, naturally are better at forgiving certain things than men are. That I may stipulate to and agree with. I'm a very forgiving individual. Um, and there are situations where I have forgiven people for things that they've done, even to the point where I have continued to deal with them, but it's never the same. You never look at that person the same. Um, it's almost better that you don't. It's almost better that you don't forgive that person. I think men look at it as the utmost disrespect when women cheat. And I think, again, it goes back to that emotional connection or that emotional betrayal. I don't think any man, if they're being honest, would say, if my woman cheats on me, I'm going to be able to forgive her. I don't think any man can honestly say that that's the case. I don't, because I don't believe it's possible. I don't. I think any man who has had to deal with, their woman cheating on them has been very hard pressed to forgive that woman for that. I just think it's the way we're wired. I just think we're wired differently. But I think that most men are honest about that. I don't think most men are dishonest about whether or not they'd be able to forgive the woman they're with for cheating. And again, I think it goes back to not many men are going to leave their wives, leave their homes, leave their situation for a woman that they might be dealing with on the side. And, to some extent, too, those men are missing something, too, that they feel like in their relationship they're not getting. They're not about to divulge in all the emotional stuff. Some men will, because that part is more based on the individual. But for the majority of the men who do that, they're going back home to their wives. They're going back home to, whoever it is that they're with or they're living with. And they're not thinking twice about it until it's time to engage in that activity again. But we're not, in most cases, divulging secrets about the woman we're with. We're not, in most cases, saying things that could potentially be damaging or dangerous to the family unit. See, my thing about cheating is this: male or female, whoever you are, whatever your reason, whatever you're into. If you're going to be disrespectful enough to cheat, at least have enough respect for the situation, the family unit, the relationship, to make sure that that shit never makes it back to your front door. Because the second you do, now you have put not just the relationship in jeopardy, but you've put the parties involved in danger. Because you never know how a person's going to react. And there are prisons full of people who found out about a cheating partner because they were reckless in what they were doing. Some shit popped off because people can't control their tempers, and people aren't logical, and people don't know who their enemies are in those situations and who they should and shouldn't have real problems with. Shit pops off, and now you got murders, attempted murders, you got assaults, all types of crazy shit. So my thing is, and I don't know if this answered your question or not, Samantha, but I think overall, just to sum it up, I do believe that most men look at it as, if you cheat on me, and you're supposed to be my woman, then that was a choice that started somewhere that was more emotional, and I can't forgive that. You can't forgive emotional. Once you let someone in emotionally, that was a choice that you first made mentally, and so in my opinion, you left the relationship long before physical cheating ever happened. With men, there's very rarely an emotional connection. It's more physical, and then they bring the emotions, they bring the mental, whatever that is, back to their relationship. Women will divulge, in my experience and in my conversations, women start to divulge shit that they shouldn't be divulging. And then they start to create a whole nother set of issues. You have some women out here who lie about being abused as a way to get sympathy or not be judged for their cheating. And they will tell the dudes that they're talking to, oh, my husband beats me, my husband does this to me, he does that to me, as a way to get sympathy. Now you have this individual who never met this man looking at him a certain way. And that's a potential for a recipe for disaster. It is. Men don't need to do all that. They don't, because there are plenty. See, this is the thing I need to realize too. There are more women out here who don't have respect for other women's relationships than there are men. A man's going to try to date or deal with any woman that he sees that he's attracted to, because that's just men. It's just the way we're programmed. But if you're with someone and you let it be known that you're with someone and that it is what it is, there's other women out there. But there are women out here who strictly look for and go for men who are married, who are taken, because they don't give a fuck. It's just let me know that. Let me know the answer to that question. Do you feel like women are more disrespectful, more likely to not give a fuck that a man has a ring on his finger or that a man is taken than vice versa? Let me know what you think about that. Anyway, I've tried my best to answer your question. I hope that the next ladies' night that you have, that y'all discuss this situation, I hope it sheds some light on it. Maybe wrong, maybe right, but I believe that I can comfortably speak for most men when I say I think the biggest proponent there is that emotional, that mental side. I think for most men, and we have a lower threshold for that type of shit. We're less tolerant of that type of shit. And maybe it's because of more of a dominant, I don't know, gene or something in men. I really don't know. We're just not beat. We're not beat to be played for the most part. We're not beat to feel like we're on some sucker shit. Like maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's more socially acceptable when women accept it and forgive. I don't know. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this one. Another salute to Samantha Rose for the comment, for the question. I don't pretend to know everything. I really don't. I just know what I know. I rely on y'all to help me sort through the rest. But I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace and love. Hey, yo, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That's the best way to receive future notifications on all comments, especially for this series where I address your comments. You want to be aware when and where that happens. Peace and love.